All right, I have Pooh Bear, Bryan Battle back on the show now, who just picked up a big win, a UD win over Tresean Gore this past Saturday at UFC Vegas 47. Bryan, how does that sound?
It sounds pretty fantastic. You know what I'm saying? I like it. Uh, but it's time to get ready for the next one. You know what I'm saying? Hear me, hear my name after beating somebody else. You know what I mean?
For sure. Is this the most gratifying win of your career so far?
I would say so. You know what I mean? There was a lot of like anticipation for this fight. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of people who cared. More people cared about this than I thought they would. So, with all the eyes that were on it, and all the the stakes that were kind of riding on it, it was definitely a big relief to get out there and get out there with the W.
A lot of people were saying that the winner of this fight, this is the true tough champion. Clearly Tresean is extremely tough, and he hits you with some big shots. Now that a few days have passed, looking back on it now, do you agree with that? Is that accurate? Do you feel like this win validates tough?
Um, it was always one of those things where regardless of what would have happened, I would have felt like the tough champ. You know what I'm saying? It would have just been that he was better on that day to me. But I knew that that's what people were going to say. And I didn't feel like having to hear that for like the rest of my career that, I wasn't the real tough champ. It would have been something that would have just been annoying. You know what I'm saying? It would just been something that, the trolls would have brought up all the time. So I'm happy I don't have to hear that. I mean, people are still gonna say it, you know what I'm saying? People are still gonna say that I'm not that good and whatnot, but they don't have any actual basis for any of their accusations.
Did it feel different? Like, did this fight feel different than any previous ones?
First, like training for it, it didn't feel any different. You know what I'm saying? Like leading up to it, it didn't feel different until like, you're getting there and you're getting close to the fight. And like I say, all the people who, were commenting on posts, people resharing stuff, uh, you know, the all the eyes surrounding the fight, it made it feel a little bit different. It was definitely the most high profile match that I've been in up to this point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy because I'm two fights into my UFC career, and both fights have been on the main card. So it's been a wild ride, man. It's definitely it's been wild.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very well said. So, are you pleased with your performance? I'm sure you wanted to get him out of there and get the finish, but how happy are you with what you went in there and did?
I'm happy that I won. I definitely had a solid showing, but it was solid. It wasn't like an A+ performance. There's still a lot of things I left on the table, and I'm gonna go back and work on things so that next time I can go out there and get the finish. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason that I should have let Tresean get out of there. So it was good. I'm definitely happy I got the win. At the end of the day, that's what counts. You know what I'm saying? I got two checks instead of one, so that's always the most important thing. Um, but yeah, man, being able to finish somebody is a close second. Like that's still, it really irks me. You know what I'm saying? So happy, yes, it's bittersweet. It's definitely bittersweet. Happy I got the W. Very happy I got the W, but very much wishing I would have fought better so that I could have got the finish.
It's clear to me that he was looking for that one hitter quitter, that big shot that's just gonna put you out. And he clearly has a ton of power, man. Were you ever hurt? Like, did he ever land anything that had you significantly hurt at all?
What's funny is there was nothing ever where my equilibrium was off. Like I was never rocked. There were two times where my knees did buckle off two of those shots. But I was never like, oh my goodness, I'm about to get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? It was just something where I was like, okay, that was a good shot. I probably need to move. You know what I mean? And what I'll give him credit is he's accurate. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that he had this like just disruptive power that would uh, put me to sleep. He was just very accurate. The two shots that he landed, they were both very accurate shots, right on the chin. You know what I mean? So he's a good puncher, man. His boxing's solid. But Yeah, I mean, when you're fighting someone like me, I mean, if you're really dependent on one thing, I'm going to do my best to neutralize that and just kind of take advantage of all the other openings that are going to be there.
Going into that third round, what did your corner tell you?
They told me that it was 1-1 and that I had to make it dirty and go out there and get the W. So that's what I knew. I just knew that I had to at the very least, I had to outwork them. Like, definitely going back and watching it, there's a lot of opportunities to go do different things, but I was in like in must win mode, you know. So I wasn't looking for any style points. I was just looking to get the W. And yeah, I felt when the bell when the bell went off, I was pretty confident, even before the judges said anything, just because of my output that round. So yeah, that's what I knew. It was just time to get dirty.
Yeah, you just answered my next question. That's what I was going to ask, because you never really know what the judges are looking for nowadays. But you really came in and looked strong in that third round. So it was clear to me that you were going to get your hand raised. Well, congratulations on the win, my man. I know that was a big one for you. You had me rolling with the post-fight interview with Michael Bisping when you said, who needs two eyes? Did you know, did you realize that, his issue with his eye? Did you say that on purpose?
Yeah, I absolutely said, because I mean, he comes in here, and of all people, Michael Bisping's gonna ask me if my eye was bothering me during the fight. I was like, dude, like, are you serious? You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, I 100% realized that he had one eye, because I just thought it was funny. I was like, bro, how can I complain about having a swollen eye during a fight when you won the title without an eye? So yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of crazy how much that comment has really taken off. It's nice that people think it was funny.
Oh, that was classic, man. I had to think for a second. I was like, after a war like that, if he was still sharp enough to think clearly and say that like on purpose, I was like, this guy has had some PR classes, or at least that's what I was thinking.
Hey, that's just growing up with the boys. You know what I'm saying? We're always busting each other's balls. So even tired, even rocked, you always gotta be ready to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I mean, especially something like that. I mean, that was like almost like a softball setup. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, I'm happy people thought it was funny. That's dope.
Right. Well done. So after the fight, did you get a chance to kick back and watch any of the rest of the card, or were you too busy doing, post-fight media stuff and any medicals that you had to do?
Yeah, no, I mean, I missed a lot of it because yeah, you go back, you do the medicals, you got to run around, take pictures, do media, all that stuff, and then afterwards, you shuttle back, you're getting changed and whatnot. So I watched everything the next day, but no, I didn't. After the fight, I didn't stay back and watch any of the fights.
I just want to get your take on Sean Strickland. He got another big win, obviously in the main event over Hermanson. Like how good do you feel like he can be? Is this someone that could win a title at 185?
I mean, he has a very interesting style. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see how he does against someone who's really good at wrestling. And his style against Stylebender would be very because obviously he's not going to be afraid to walk forward. He's not going to be afraid to take punishment from Stylebender. But will his style work very effectively against someone as complex? I was saying a Stylebender. So um, there's still, Sean's like super fun to watch. You know what I mean? I love watching Sean fight. He's someone where I think that would be a fun fight for me in the future. But he still has questions that he can answer. And, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. That's just, he's been so good at implementing his game plan that, we haven't had to see him work off his back in a while. We haven't seen how he would have to adjust to someone super complicated because he's been so good at imposing his will on people. But it would be interesting to see how he would respond to like a top level wrestler, someone who could really be a threat to take him down, or somebody with the sophistication of a style bender.
All right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Stylebender. We talked about it a little bit in our previous interview, but UFC 271 is this Saturday. So just give me your official pick. How does it end? Whittaker, Adesanya 2?
Man, I was all the way leading up to this fight. I was hardcore picking Stylebender, but you always got to be careful. You can't let these like UFC preview shows sway your opinion. But man, dude, Robert Whittaker looks good in those little preview shows, man. Their production, they're making him look good. He seems motivated. He's saying all the right things. But Stylebender, he seems like he's still doing everything he needs to do. So my heart wants to go with Robert Whittaker. My heart wants me to take Robert Whittaker, but my brain is still telling me that it's just a terrible stylistic matchup. That Stylebender's still motivated, and that Stylebender will get the win. I think it'll be closer this time. It'll at least be closer, but I think Stylebender still pulls it out.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I feel the exact same way. I'm a big Bobby Knuckles fan. I also
Yeah.
like Stylebender too. So I just feel like for the fans, if Whitaker wins, we get a trilogy. That always works. Are you a football guy? Do you have a pick for the Super Bowl this Sunday?
It's I pick for the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's tough. I used to live and breathe football back in the day. That used to be my number one sport. I'm a Giants fan, so and between being super preoccupied with MMA and my football team absolutely being trash for the past decade, I've fallen off a little bit, but I definitely stay in the know. This Sunday, I gotta go with the Rams. You know what I mean? Matthew Stafford, that'd be a great story. He's had a super long career, didn't even win any playoff games. Now he's in the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow seems like a cool cat. You know what I mean? But he seems like he'll be around for a long time. So I gotta go with the Rams this Sunday.
All right. And the last thing for me is, are you going to take a little time off before your next fight? Give me like a date range as to when we can expect to see you back. And is there anyone that stands out that you'd like to fight next? There's actually a name that I have in mind, but I wanted to hear what you had to say first.
I would love to fight in the summer. I think the summer would be a great time to make a comeback. I'd like to fight at least two times this year, maybe three times if I could, stay healthy for the rest of the year. Um, in my head, I think me versus Maximov makes a lot of sense. I mean, have basically, I think we have the same record except he's undefeated. You know what I mean? So we have the similar amount of fights. He's got a little bit of hype. I got a little bit of hype. I think that would be a fun fight that would get the fans excited for us where we're at in our career. What about? But I mean, honestly, I'm not really picky. You know what I'm saying? There's no one I got a beef with right now. I'm just kind of chilling, doing my thing.
You and me are like this, my man. That is exactly who I was thinking about. Nick Maximov. I mean, after beating Soriano in his last fight out, I mean, he's 2-0 inside of the UFC octagon now. I believe he was supposed to be on The Ultimate Fighter your season. So there's that angle that they could build too. I love it personally. How do you like that matchup? Like, how do you see that fight ending?
Man, listen, man, he's a tough guy. Obviously he's got the wrestling, but I've fought big, strong wrestlers before. You saw me go against Petrosky on the show. My takedown defense. People talk junk about my takedown defense, but if you look at how many times people shoot on me, like how often I actually defend takedowns and how people look after I defend takedowns on them, it's always I'm a good anti-wrestler fighter. So I like the style. I like the matchup stylistically. I think it favors me. But it's a good fight. You know what I'm saying? Nick is a really tough dude. Is someone that I'd have the motivation to get out of the bed every morning and get ready to prepare for this guy because he's a killer.
For sure. Well, sign me up for that one. Bryan Battle, Nick Maximov. I love it. Bryan, great talking to you as always, man. Before I let you go, I do want to give you the floor. Tell people where to follow you on social media. And if there's anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
All right, you already know on social media, Pooh Bear Battle 68 on Instagram, no underscores. Pooh Bear Battle 68 on Twitter, Bryan Battle 10. I love the Twitters. If you're on the Twitter, follow me. Comment some crazy stuff underneath my post. I love reading the crazy comments. Facebook, I got a little fan page, but no one really does anything on Facebook anymore. It's just shout out to all my people, Tresean Design, Cancel Couture, Crown Town, Charlotte. and Focal Point Chiropractic. And obviously my coaches and my wife and, all the normal people, all the people that I couldn't do this without.